Hey guys, it's Elizabeth Finding Elizabeth. This is my second video today. This is a series I'm doing on dating post weight loss surgery. This is the first video in that series where I'm going to be talking about my kind of like my relationship history pre weight loss and post weight loss surgery. So I had, and I don't know. I know a lot of the people that I know in the weight loss surgery community are married or in committed relationships, but I know there's people who are out there who are dating, and I really feel like I've learned more in the last year about dating and relationships than I probably have in my whole life. So I just thought maybe if I had something to share that would be helpful to other people, I wanted to do that. And it's something that I've been thinking a lot about. So I am 50 years old. I had weight loss surgery when I was 48. In the last 2.5 years, I've lost just about 200 pounds. My whole life has changed as a result of that. I never could have imagined that at 50 I would be this happy and having this much fun and this many, I don't know, just new experiences. Because I think a lot of people think that, you know, you hit 50 and you're on a downhill slope. I hit 50 and I feel like the next, I really do feel like the next decade is going to be the best of my life. So that's where I'm at. In general, I started dating probably when I was like 14, and really was pretty much in a relationship or married until I was in my late 30s, pretty continuously. So even though I was overweight, I did not get as substantially overweight. When I had surgery, I was 400 pounds. I did not get that overweight till after my son was born, but I felt overweight my entire life, and I blamed everything that was wrong with every relationship that I had on the fact that I was fat. So it came as a very rude, shocking awakening to me this year to find out that shit still happens, whether you're fat or whether you're not. And actually, and I probably still am, but whatever. That's a different video topic. But even when I was in my early 20s, I weighed 145 pounds. I thought I was fat. I weigh considerably more than that now, and yet I feel more confident than I ever have in my life. So spent my whole life blaming every single thing on the fact that I was fat. Any problem that we had in the relationship, I won't say that I wasn't choosy, but I knew that the people, well, I wasn't, no, I was not choosy. I sort of felt like I had to take what I got because I was fat. And I know that I have talked to many of you who did not have this experience. As an overweight woman, that you never felt that, you just never felt the way I did. But I know that there are people who felt the way I did, that felt limited in their choices, felt like they didn't deserve, they didn't deserve certain things, and that a partner could pretty much do anything because, and I just had to accept it because, look, they were willing to be with me, and I was fat at 145 pounds. Yeah, whatever. I also, because of that, the way I showed up in relationships was sort of like I felt that I didn't have faith that someone would stay with me unless I was basically doing everything for them, that I had created a need for myself in their lives, and that I did everything humanly possible to make their life easy, and that I just did way too much for people and did not let people do for me. I know once my Bob, my son's dad, said to me, this is when we had been dating for like 6 months, and he was like, you never even give me a chance to do anything nice for you because you've already thought about it, done it, executed it. I don't have a fighting chance. And, that stuck with me all of these years later. I mean, that was my son's 20, and we had been together for several years before I had my son. So, that's probably going on 25 years ago. He said that to me, and it's still a little true. So he and I, were on again, off again for like 20 years. We split up living together for the last time when I was almost 40. but we were still sort of connected. He passed away 6 years ago, so I was 44, but I was still connected to him. And I say, truthfully, because once somebody's in my life, it is really hard for me to let them go. I mean, truly, honestly, if he would not have died, I would probably still be engaging back and forth with him, because I really loved him a lot, and we had a son together, and whatever. So between that time and when I had weight loss surgery, I really only dated one other person for a significant period of time, for like a year and a half. He was someone who was very into BBWs, actually SS BBWs, which is supersized, big, beautiful women, which I was like on the small side of the women that he dated. And you know, that was a good relationship, and he gave me some of my confidence back, but I never really felt like I could own that feeling good about being overweight. I mean, that just never was true. I remember one day we were watching TV, and can't remember what her name is, but what is her name? Oh, geez. The Latina woman who was on Desperate Housewives. I can't think of her name. But anyway, she came on something when we were watching TV, and he was like, "You are so much more beautiful than she is." And that was like a very nice thing to say, but I'm like, yeah, right. Not, maybe you think so, but the whole rest of the world doesn't. But anyway, we dated for about a year and a half and split up. We're still friends today. But that was really, so I was with Bob forever. I mean, there were lots of people before Bob, but I was Bob forever. I was with this person for about a year and a half, and that was it. So I waited until I was about a year and a half post-op before I started to consider dating. I was very, I don't know, I was very anxious and nervous about it, because even though I had always been in relationships, I had never dated the way that I date now. It's usually you met somebody through a friend or at a party or something. It wasn't like all these like first dates and, you know, these real dates. And there wasn't online dating back then either. So I started dating almost exactly a year ago, probably like a year ago last week. The first person I met off of Craigslist, which you guys told me was crazy, and I realize now was totally crazy. But I hated sites like Match.com and eHarmony and things like that, because it just seemed like it took forever, and I really need to meet somebody to know if there's chemistry and attraction and blah, blah, blah. So I met, the first person I met, we went to brunch, and I remember being so nervous, but I remember sitting across from him and realizing for the first time, maybe ever in my life, because I just didn't see it before, but I realized, like, wow, this person really finds me attractive. And that was a kind of liberating feeling. That didn't work out. It didn't work out for a variety of reasons. I think we only went out twice, because we were both traveling a lot at the time, and then it just didn't end up being a fit. He got very uptight when I tried to friend him on Facebook. Now I realize that that's a sign for me that you're probably not somebody for me if you're afraid to friend me on Facebook. I mean, really, come on. What are you hiding? I mean, he did, but he was like resentful about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Now I realize what a complicated thing that is, but that's something else. I had also never dated in the age of social media and texts and blah, 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 and thank God is all I have to say about that, because it makes things very, very, very complicated, and it's way too easy to say things in a text that you wouldn't say if you actually had to talk to somebody. But anyway, so I met him in September 25th, I think, right around last year. I left on a 6-week travel spurt, so I went to visit Lindsay in Portland, came home for a couple of days, went to London for a week, came home for a couple of days, went to North Carolina for obesity help, flew from North Carolina to Maryland for work, came home for another couple of days, and flew to Riviera Maya, Mexico for work, and I flew home from Riviera Maya on October 31st. I decided when I was in London to try Tinder for the first time, figuring, you know, I had heard here that it was a hookup app, but I figured, okay, the guys in London are going to be classier than they are here, so let's give it a whirl there. And I was in London for over a week. I met a really great guy there. I had said to him before we met that, you know, I understand this is a hookup app. I'm not going to be hooking up with you tonight, so just wanted to put that out there now. And he's like, yeah, people use it because it's free and it's fast. I don't know that that's the case for everybody, but this was like a really amazing first like romance post weight loss surgery. It was so romantic to be in London with somebody who was from there. He was smart and funny, and I just really liked him and connected to him. We were walking through the streets of London at night. We went to a play. We just had a really good time. I was staying at the Savoy, which is one of the nicest hotels in London. So I will say I probably could not have had a better first, sort of like romantic experience after weight loss surgery. Of course, I knew nothing was going to come of that relationship because we, lived across the world from each other. However, he friend requested me on Facebook. I have an issue about this. We're still friends. We're friends on Facebook. We chat on WhatsApp every now and again. And he's just a good guy. I met some other people on Tinder while I was traveling. And I flew back in October 31st, the evening of October 31st, and decided, okay, I'm going to go on Tinder here in LA. I met Brian on November 1st. Brian's the person that I was in a relationship with from November through June. So I gave myself, a really long period of time there to get to know other people. During the period of time I was getting to know him until we started dating exclusively, or until I started dating him exclusively after he brought it up. I had probably met 5 other people on Tinder. I honestly liked them all. There wasn't chemistry and connection with everybody, but I thought they were all decent guys for the most part. When I first met Brian, I was dating 2 other people, so I was dating 3 people at that time, and continued to do that for a few weeks until he talked about dating exclusively, and so I broke it off with the other 2 guys. So, did not give myself a huge period of time, sort of rushed into it. However, that relationship experience was perfect for me, even though it ended sort of poorly. And if you're curious about that, you can go watch past videos. Didn't work out so well, but it was what I needed at the time. He really helped me open up to the idea of being a woman, maybe for the first time ever. And regardless of what he did outside of the time we were together, up until the last week when I went to go visit him in New Hampshire after he moved, was really quite wonderful. And I had obviously put a lot of expectations on that relationship that weren't realistic, and I do see now where I overlooked a lot of things. And I did the same thing that I did in past relationships, and I'm going to talk about that more in some of the other videos. But anyway, so we broke it off in June. I kept in communication with him for a few months. It's actually probably, I kept in communication with him through the summer. The last time I talked to him was just 2 weeks ago when it was a real final good wrap. We're done. It's through. When I came back from Bogota, I had put the dating apps on my phone as soon as I got back from New Hampshire, but I just wasn't there. I was too sad and too connected into that relationship to see other people. When I came back from Bogota a few weeks ago, I started dating again. I am dating a few people right now, or talking to a few people, dating a few people, whatever. And I'm approaching it from a very different perspective of really looking to, not settling, but not, like really trying to find the person who is truly right for me. And I have said to everybody that I'm talking to and dating that my intent is to see multiple people at least through the end of the year, because I'm not rushing into anything. So that's my sort of relationship history that will lead us into the rest of these videos that I have. So anyway, I don't know that I'm going to be able to make them all tonight because I have to go to New York early in the morning tomorrow. But I'm going to see what I can do. Okay, bye guys.